I'm Cindi Swanson. I am a licensed school social worker, but I am a lifelong Catholic, the director of disability outreach at a parish. My work was placing children with disabilities in classrooms, make families, mothers and fathers feel comfortable with their child in a classroom. There was this wonderful young woman. She just did not believe her son was right. And my whole thing was, he's a child of God. He should be part of this. So she went along with what I said. And then that night she called me back and I said, how did it go? And she said, it was horrible. He ate everything. So everything. Did he like nothing? And she said, okay, Cindi, he liked the juice box. So I said, okay, we found something he liked. And does he like to do anything else? Well, he likes to be active. The mom says he likes to be active. He likes to do stuff. So I said, we will make him the official juice box passer outer. So we did a lot of conversation with the religion teachers. They're all volunteers. They're all moms. They don't do this for a living. But we agreed that Sammy would be the official juice box passer outer. Sammy also did not have the ability to sit in the class for that hour-long period, which really is a long period for any 6-year-old, but for a kid who's got really attention challenges, this was really difficult. So again, we're all about building up his ability, his reserves to last a long time. That's all we're talking about, how to get him in, how to stay, how to build that reserve to be in the classroom for that much time. All about Sammy. The children would do a thing called pows and wows. They always did that at the end of the class, and pows and wows were each child would say a wow, something wonderful that happened this week or this day, and a pow might have been something that was disappointing. And it was a time when the kids would actually have a nice opportunity to talk about something that made them sad, and they would share their sadness with the other children, and hopefully building up a little bit of sensitivity with the other kids, but it also was an opportunity for them to kind of say something that was wonderful. So there was a time that the class ended. For Sammy, because he only had the ability to sit there in the class for a couple of minutes, we said, okay, for Sammy, he's going to pass the juice boxes. That's going to be his first job. And then after a couple of minutes of getting together, they would do pows and wows right away. That was the first thing. So he might have been in that class for only 5 or 10 minutes. So Sammy came in, he was really excited because he was going to pass out the juice boxes, and all the children understood this. It wasn't as though other children were saying, because you get, pushback. Well, everybody wants to pass out the juice boxes, but the kids get it. And this was Sammy's only opportunity to be included with typical children, because in the public school, he was in a self-contained center. And I always talk about how in church we're called to a higher order of behavior. We're ordered to include, to let people belong, to be part of it, and everybody gets to fill out where their gifts are. This was a gift. This was a strength of Sammy's to pass out the juice boxes. So we would do pows and wows. So the first week we did that, worked out beautifully. And I said, okay, the next week, let's do those pows and wows a little bit later, like let's give it 10 more minutes. So I had told his mother, by the end of the school year, he will spend 25 minutes in the classroom. By the end of the year, he was able, by building each week a few more minutes, by the end, Sammy was staying for the entire class. He had built a Christian community. So it turned out to be a very, very successful experience for Sammy. We built up his ability to spend an hour. It was all about Sammy, remember. Sammy's mother shared a story with me that happened over the summer. So Sammy also was kind of unpredictable. So the family went to a very popular ice cream parlor in our town. And they're standing in line, and all of a sudden, Sammy just splits. He runs out of the ice cream parlor. And it's in an area that you don't want a kid running around, because it's in the middle of a parking lot. So she takes off, she's running after him, and Sammy runs to his car. He found his way into the car. She got into the car, and another child was kind of pushing her away. And it was actually a child that was in Sammy's first grade religion class. And Sammy's sitting in his car seat, and he's shaking. And the little boy came up to him, and he was just patting Sammy on the knee, saying, "Sammy, it's okay. It's going to be okay, Sammy. It's going to be okay." And this little boy's dad was now behind them. And he said, "Well, my son Jeffrey was in Sammy's religion class this past year. Her daughter was left behind at the ice cream parlor. So the dad stayed there with Sammy while she retrieved her little girl and brought her in." This whole time we're working on Sammy's ability to stay in class. But what we really did was we made that so much of a bigger picture that we built in such a capacity in the other children. What these children learned was their compassion and their graciousness and their ability to love a kid that was really kind of challenging in their classroom. He never sat still, but to think about a little 7-year-old boy running after him, and then his father's running after him, and the father didn't say anything disparaging. The father got it. What's really important was we knew the children were going to get it, but the dad got it, and he ran after to make sure everybody was safe. He checked with the mom, "Is everything okay?" Our ability to all be together in there afforded all these children to be the compassionate, loving, welcoming children that I think our faith asks us to be. We're learning about content, but what is our eventual goal? And that is, how does our faith form our behavior?
A few more questions to think about. What are you doing well? What would you like to do better? If you were given the power to change one thing, what would it be? What is your next step at your parish? What help do you need to do this?